yourself out.
All right, hello YouTube. This is Christian Edward, and I'm here with Michael from policeabuse.com, and I'm going to be giving him my report, and this could be used against me or for me in a court of law. So here we go.
All right. Well, I guess to get started, we can just take it from the top.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know, I know I spoke with you on the telephone about you know, the basics of the case, but we want to get you a nice recorded statement that we can work with for our media outlets.
Okay.
So let's just start with when did all this happen? What day was it?
All right. Let's see. It was April 29th of 2010. That was when I was pulled over after about an hour and a half worth of harassment, then there was about 45 minutes worth of harassment. Sorry, and the end result was about a 1-minute traffic stop. In which case, at the end of that traffic stop, it smashed out my window.
Right. Was it your driver's side window?
Right. Yeah, the driver's side window. Yep. For the record, though, I was traveling in a private automobile, not driving. So that's just a word game that they play with you in court. You can drive, and that's a commercial occupation, or you can just travel, and that's a right. Okay. Yeah.
So were you operating the vehicle?
I was traveling in my private automobile.
Okay.
Is officially how it's to be said, because I wasn't operating any kind of a commercial capacity. And that's where all these codes and all kinds of extra stuff comes in that they like to use on you. That's not constitutional. So,
all right.
You know, I mean, we talked a little bit about, you know, my education into constitutional rights that have been kind of masked by just a ton of statutes that are just made every single year, and they just encroach further and further. And you know, when you actually read the Constitution, you're pretty shocked at the rights that you actually did have.
So getting back on topic, April 29th. Okay, so I'm assuming you're traveling in a commercial vehicle.
Right.
Is that terminology?
You're traveling in a private automobile.
There you go.
Yeah,
oh, private, not commercial.
Okay.
And you arrive home, I'm assuming.
Okay, I had I'd gotten home, and I was out with a friend. We were running some errands, and I saw I think like 3 cop cars outside my house. About 5 cops. They looked like really mad. They looked very angry. Like a couple cops that, you know, like they had been somehow revved up in some sort of a briefing or something like that. Okay. You know, go get this guy. You know what I mean? And anyway, I'm just like, you know, so what's going on, guys? I rolled down my window. I'm like, what's going on, guys? And they said, we just want to talk to you. I said, you know, can you step out of the vehicle? I said, I don't want to step out of the vehicle. You know, my rights are that I don't have to do anything that they say until they have some sort of piece of paper with my name on it. You know what I mean? Signed by a judge. So they said, well, we can't talk to you. And I thought that was strange, and I just started pulling away real slow to see if they would let me go. I pulled away. You want to
just a little backstory on that. I mean, I thought you had mentioned to me before about I don't know, having a meeting with possibly a meeting with the sheriff about
that was like about a year previous.
Starting
a
private militia.
That's kind of a backstory to this, and I'll get that after we go through the incident. You know, like I almost thought maybe we should have started with a backstory, but okay, basically. They just wanted to talk to me, and then they said they couldn't talk to me because I didn't want to step out of my truck. So I started driving away real slow to see if they would let me go.
So they didn't try to stop you at that point?
They didn't try to stop me.
They just let you drive off?
They just let me drive off.
They knew it was you, and they ID'd you, and they just let you...
They knew who I was, because they said, Mr. Piccolo, will you step out of the vehicle?
Okay.
And again, I'm not Mr. Piccolo, I'm Christian Edward with the Piccolo family. They want to operate on me in a corporate capacity, and it's just a word game.
I understand.
You know, is all it is. I'm not schizophrenic or anything like that.
So they ID'd you, they knew it was you,
right?
And they just went ahead and let you drive off.
Right. They knew who they thought I was. Let's just put it that way.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I pulled out, and then I pulled down the street, and I pulled over, and I got my camera out, and I'm filming them for like half an hour. You know, at the end of the street, they're watching me, I'm watching them. There's cops going behind me. You know, like, this is really scary. Like, you know, if I was anybody else, I'd be afraid of it. You know what I'm saying?
Is this the video that got confiscated later?
Yeah, this is the video that got confiscated later on. Yep. And so then I pulled away from the curb, and then I pulled down where I was directly across the street from my house. So any of these times, the cops could have taken me into custody. You know what I'm saying? And avoided what happened afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Just by talking with me, they had two opportunities.
Well, I mean,
to talk.
it just leads me to another question, which would be, well, why didn't you take solace in your own home? You know, why wouldn't you? Were they blocking your driveway? They were blocking your doorway?
They were blocking my home. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they were blocking my home, and I have a fence and a gate, so I couldn't get out to do the gate, and they were in between me and my house.
Okay,
yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, and then I pulled over like right across the street after about a half an hour down the street filming them. Pulled over right across the street. I was there for about another 10 maybe 15 minutes filming them. They wouldn't come near me because I got my camera out. And I'm assuming that's what it is. And then I pulled over, and I pulled over to them, and I said, hey, listen, are you guys going to leave at some point so I can go in my house?
Did any of the cops ask you to stop recording or put the camera down?
No, surprisingly enough. Yeah. But I think they pretty much knew that I wouldn't. They knew that I would.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because they know me.
Right.
That's the bottom line. These people know me, so that's another thing is they do know me. So I'm not a threat. You know what I mean? They know who I am. All they ever have to do is communicate with me, which they don't. You know what I'm saying? I communicate with them, but then they don't communicate back.
Right.
Because they're acting fraudulently in most cases and against the Constitution, and they don't want to admit they are, and that's basically what's going on. You know.
Okay.
So anyway, at this point, they said, well, we need to talk to you. When I'm asking why they're blocking my driveway, if I could go in my house, they're like, we need to talk to you. This is again. I said, well, you know, I don't want to talk. You know, they said, we want you to step out. They tried to get me to step out again. And I said, I don't want to step out. You know, I want to see what's your business. What do you want me to, you know, just tell me, am I under arrest? If I'm under arrest, then you know, be straight out front. You know. But they want to get you and put you in jail, and then, you know, maybe 3 days later tell you what they put you in there for. You know what I mean? I'm just not down with that. You know, because, you know, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those are the ones in the preamble of the Constitution. Everything else in the Constitution is supposed to protect that.
Right.
You know. So anyway, so finally they said, well, we can't talk to you. They did the we can't talk to you thing again. And then I said, all right, well, you know, I'm going to go, and I'm going to take off for a couple of hours, and then I'll come back, and hopefully you guys will be gone, and I can go in my house. And so then, let's see. So then I pull out, and then right around the corner, literally a couple 100 yards from my house, they pull me over. It's right next to a field, and there's a cop that pulls in front of me, and then these guys behind me, and they get out, and it's like terror lockdown, man. They're screaming and hollering at me. They got guns out, you know. They pull their guns out on me, and then they smash my window out within 45 seconds.
Just a personal question: why would you think that they wouldn't just do that in front of your home?
It's a good question.
And again, I'm kind of reiterating on the same point, but you kind of, you know, you made a statement that you felt that they knew they were being fraudulent in the sense that you were taping them. If they were truly being fraudulent, they could have just whooped you and took the tape from you. You know, I mean, so I'm just kind of curious as to what your take was as to why
they would have been able to do that.
Why they didn't do that, you know what I mean, at your home instead of letting you drive away.
That's a very good question.
Okay.
If I'm so dangerous, why didn't they do this terror lockdown thing on me the 2 other times that they had the chance?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Home.
I mean, just pull out their guns and you know what I mean. If they know I'm going to assert my constitutional rights, why don't they just take me by force one of the other first 2 times? You know what I'm saying?
It's puzzling to me too. That's why I was kind of curious as to why they would do that.
So that's probably why we should discuss the backstory a little bit to this and why.
Probably a good segue into.
I'm into that situation. So okay, Department of Homeland Security put out a memo back in April 2009. I think spring of 2009, something like that. That anybody, and it went out to all the police departments. It was supposed to be a secret memo, and updating people on terrorism. You know, and it was like anybody that's a constitutionalist, anybody that's a Ron Paul supporter, anybody that is that says they're a patriot, these people could be potential domestic terrorists.
Right.
Now you, I'm sure of all people know, and all you guys over there know, that if you tell a cop somebody could be a potential something, they are that. You know what I'm saying? It's not like maybe 1% of these people are terrorists. No, 100% of them are. When you tell a cop somebody could be a potential terrorist. So I called the chief of police as soon as I found out about, I think the next day, and I touched base with him, and I just said, hey, look, I'm a patriot in the community. I'm also a Ron Paul supporter, and I'm a constitutionalist. But I just wanted to let you know I'm not a terrorist. You know what I mean? And I wanted to sit down with you, and since you're the chief of my local community, I want to find out, you know, if you understand how the Constitution works and what people's rights are.
Did you get an opportunity to document any of that meeting?
I did. It's up on my YouTube channel.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. There's a half an hour of it where I sat down with the chief of police. He was then assistant chief of police. He's now chief. And we talked about the Constitution, where he basically paid lip service to, as evident by, you know, all this other stuff that's been happening. But he says he considers it protection for the people. Well, where's my protection? You know what I'm saying? I'm screaming about my protection the whole time I was in there, and I didn't have it. You know.
All right. So with the backstory kind of lined out, you know, about the notification of the possible domestic terrorism situation, things on those lines. What was the reason the police were at your house on April 29, 2010?
In my honest to God opinion, I think it was a personal, like a vendetta kind of thing. Like they finally got a piece of me. They finally got something that they can get on me. You know, they can finally lay their hands on me.
But stemming from what? Stemming from that earlier conversation, did they have any documentation at all? An arrest warrant, a search warrant?
On many times, well, they had, what happened is that Waukesha put out an invalid warrant because the temporary restraining order was only good from March 15th to March 20th. The temporary restraining order was only good for 5 days in Wisconsin. The infraction was on April 7th, okay, and that was, and then there was an injunction put in on the 12th, okay, and I didn't even show up at any of these things because it was over an email. I thought it was total BS. But anyway, the injunction was put on, in hindsight, I should have showed up, but anyway, the injunction, you know what I'm saying, was put in on the 12th, and on the 7th, there was no restraining order in effect. So Waukesha put out an invalid warrant, and then also I think some guy from my YouTube channel, if you look at the comments
was it a failure to appear warrant? I mean, what type of warrant was it?
It was a warrant that I had violated a temporary restraining order by sending an email.
Did you violate a temporary restraining order?
No, I did not, because it was not in effect, and I didn't even know about it anyway, and I never even received notice about any restraining order until May 12th when I was in jail.
Okay.
And they don't have any proof of service of any type of anything like that until May 12th when I was in jail.
Right, you have to be physically served.
You know what I'm saying? So they have nothing on the record that, you know, so knowingly violated a temporary domestic restraining order is an invalid charge on its face. Because even if it was a valid order, I wasn't knowingly violating it. They hadn't served,
so,
you know.
I mean, there could be, I don't know, a conspiracy going up to a court or a judge who actually issued an invalid warrant for your arrest on a restraining order that didn't exist.
I have been bucking the system here for a while, and since May of '09, I had gotten, I got busted for 7 grams of pot, and I went in and I pled not guilty after watching about 20 or 30 grand walk out of my local community inside of about 2 hours, you know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, they're making some mad bucks in here, and it has nothing to do with morality, you know what I mean? And so I decided to fight it, and I fight it. I go there a month later, I said, I'm not guilty, you know what I mean? And they said, well, you know, you're not, you know, we're going to withdraw the charges at this time, you know, because I'm on the jury. And so the prosecution withdraws the charges. I think I won. And I just don't know the difference between withdraw and dismiss, you know, at the time. So I go home thinking I'm victorious, and then a month later, the state comes knocking on the door, and now we're going to add, you know, and I had asked the judge initially, I said, you know, what's the max fine if I fight this? Is this $500? I said, no jail time? He says, no jail time. Well, I went and asked for the jury, and then they withdrew, and then they come back, and then there's jail time. There's up to 6 months in jail or $1,000